Hello, and welcome to the next episode of Brewing the Partial Mash Way. Today we're going to be actually doing the last kit in a series that I started well over a year ago. That's right, this is pretty old. It's been waiting for about a year, and I had to buy new yeast. The yeast died. I did a starter. It's downstairs. It's good to go. Good healthy yeast, well, because they're new. All of the hops were in storage in refrigerated storage, so they should be okay. The grains in an airtight sealed bag from Midwest. Seal's never been broken, so they should be okay. The LME, again, sealed container. I figure the worst case scenario is I brew it and it tastes like crap and I throw it away. At least I get a brew day out of it. And not only that, but I mean, what's the sense in not trying it? I don't really have anything to lose. I've already bought and paid for it. The only thing I have to lose is time. And, well, I've got enough of that I'm not worried about that. So, anyway, so this kit, like I said, it's the last in that series of the 6. I know I didn't do videos on all of the other ones, and well, I kind of got away from doing YouTube videos, and yeah, I just wasn't enjoying it. So I thought I'd take another shot at it, see if maybe I have a little more fun at it. We'll see. So anyway, the kit I'm doing today is called Chocula Extra. Well, it's an extra kit, obviously. It's called Chocula. It has with it, it includes, let's see, the dark malt syrup, 6 pounds, and then it really, yeah, again, they don't really tell you what's in there. They just call it chocolate milk stout grain blend. So Midwest knows, I don't. The hops are cluster, two 1 ounce packs of cluster hops, and the yeast is Northwest Ale. That's pretty much it. I've already got the steeping water going. Looks like they have their typical stuff. I'm going to heat up to 155 degrees, and then I will steep the grains in the water for, looks like, they say 15 to 30. I have time. Might as well do 30. Might as well get as much out of them as I can. One thing I am going to do today, a little different than what they'd say. I've always wondered about this. I've never bothered Googling it or looking it up because I kind of like to find stuff out for myself. I mean, yeah, I could go, and not only that, but there's always going to be a debate. No matter what, you can almost never find a concrete yes or no when it comes to brewing. It's always, well, this guy thinks this way, this guy thinks that way, then, and then the debate back and forth. So I'm just going to try it for myself. Anyway, the point is, or what I was talking about is, I always thought it was interesting that you, excuse me, that you bring, after you steep the grains, you bring the wort to a boil. Then you remove it from the heat. Then you add your LME, and then you go ahead and bring it back to a boil, so on and so forth, the rest of the instructions. So I'm going to skip all that. As soon as I'm done steeping my grains, I'm going to add the LME. And the reason for this that I want to do it is because I think it's just going to be easier. I'm not going to have to worry so much about it scorching because the bottom of the kettle isn't going to be red hot because it's at boiling temp. So I'm just going to skip the initial boil and just go straight from steeping to adding the LME, and then raising up to boil and do the rest down the road. Now, if anybody wants to comment or tell me why they do it this way or why they do it that way, why Midwest says to steep, boil, remove, add LME, then bring back up to boil, I'd love to hear it. That's what the comment sections are for below. Speaking of the comment section, somebody commented on one of my videos, I think it was my first video, that the music in the background was either too loud or it was too loud and too distracting. So, thank you for the feedback. You know who you are, and guess what? No more music in the background. Not necessary. During the intermissions where I'm doing stuff and I'm not taping, that's when I'll listen to my music, because the music was really for me, not for you guys. So anyway, we're gonna go ahead and cut away, and I still have some cleaning and whatnot to do. I figured you guys don't want to see that, so yeah. So I'm gonna go ahead and start cleaning up. We'll check in when we're just about ready to add the steeping grains. See you then. Okay, so we're back. Our water actually got up to 157. Yeah, I had quite a bit of cleaning to do. You know, I haven't used my stuff in a while, so. Also, I forgot, or I missed an ingredient that this has got a pound of lactose. I've never used it, but obviously that's where the whole cow chocula, so basically a chocolate milk stout, you know. So this goes in at the same time as the liquid malt extract. So again, I'm not gonna bother pre-boiling before adding. I'm just gonna, as soon as I'm done steeping, I'm gonna add that and this, and then bring up the boil and go from there. Anyway, so next step is we're gonna go ahead and get these grains ready. They're over here. Excuse me. So this is a, how much is this? I'm not seeing. Wasn't bad when I get started. Yeah, it doesn't really say, but if I had to take a guess, I would say it's right around a pound. Right around a pound. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and use the muslin bag that they what's the word I'm looking for? Help me out here. Provide. Wow. Should have had that third cup of coffee this morning. All right. So, and you know what I like to do is I like to do this inside their box, because if you have done an extract kit, you know this. If you've never done an extract kit where you steep grains with the muslin bag, it's not perfect. You're gonna make a mess. Stuff is gonna seep out. So what I like to do is, rather than have to clean up my counter, I just do it inside the bag that everything comes, or the box that everything comes in. You know, it's funny because I realized that it's been so long since I've ordered anything from Midwest that for all I know, they've completely changed how they do this. It might, or how they ship it. For all I know, it comes in a plastic case. I doubt that very much, but anyway. Okay, so we're at 158 degrees. And it looks like it's holding there. I'm gonna go ahead and put it in and slowly bring it down. It's 3 degrees. You know, it's a kit beer. For all I know, it's because it's so old, it's not gonna turn out. So I'm just not gonna worry too much about sticking 100% to the directions. You know, I've found with extract kits, you have to try to screw them up. I mean, you have to try really hard. I mean, I'm not the best at this. I'm not a perfectionist, and I have yet to take an extract kit and screw it up to where it's undrinkable. So, maybe I'm a little too loosey-goosey. I don't know. It's just beer. At the end of the day, it's just beer. So here we go. Grains going in. I don't know if you guys can see that. It's kind of far away. I'll have to work that shot out. But anyway, getting them down in there. Come on, get the water going. There we go. Okay. Go ahead. I got a big old spoon. I can get it out there. Just go ahead and let it drop in and soak up. I noticed that muslin bag had a runner. If any ladies watch, you know what that is. For guys that don't know or don't have one in their life that wears pantyhose, it's a rip in the pantyhose, kind of. It's a separation. Now, there wasn't this muslin bag, so I imagine I'm going to have a lot of floaters. No big deal. That's why we strain when we drain. All right, so that's pretty much it right now. We're just going to sit. I'm going to go ahead and bring this down, see if I can get it closer to that 155 mark. The timer, I believe, was a half an hour. Go ahead and look at that. Yeah, 15 to 30 minutes. I'm going to do the whole 30 minutes. That'll give me an opportunity to, while I was doing that, go ahead and make sure I'm fully ready and I've got everything I need, because it's been a while since I've brewed any beer, so I'm worried that I'm going to screw something up and just totally forget. Yeah, all right. So we'll see you when when this is done, and we're gonna go ahead and add the LME, and we're gonna add the pound of lactose. Interesting. See you then. Real quick. So I was at the store the other day. The grocery store I go to has a pretty decent selection of craft beer. You know, I've seen bigger selections, but it's pretty decent. Nothing to scoff at. The point of this is that I had an interesting interaction with somebody there that, well, so I was buying a oatmeal milk chocolate stout. I'm not sure if that's the right way to say it, what order those adjectives go into. But anyway, I was buying it, and there was a gentleman that was standing next to me or near me that was also looking in the same case. And he says to me, well, I hope you like coffee. And I didn't take anything. I didn't think he was being rude. I go, excuse me, because I want to make sure I heard him right or what he meant. And he says, well, that beer has notes. I mean, this is exactly, well, I mean, this is pretty close to how he delivered this to me, or his attitude. He goes, well, that beer has notes of coffee and nut, as well as it has a silky smooth. I mean, like, he was seriously critiquing this beer. And, I kind of whatever, I laugh. I go, yeah, I like coffee, I like coffee, I like beer, I like stouts, so yeah, I should like it. Thank you. And then I got home and I started thinking about it more, and what is going on with beer? I mean, seriously, I was like, I thought about, like, the guy was describing beer. He wasn't talking about wine. There seems to be this, like, pretentiousness all of a sudden that is coming with beer. And I gotta say, I don't like it. I don't like it. Beer is beer. It's it's a blue collar drink. It's a man's drink. Well, men and women. I don't mean to be sexist, but it's it doesn't need that whole. I can't think of another word. That whole pretentious superiority kind of thing. That's the wrong vibe for beer, man. Looking back, I wish I'd said to the guy, you know what? I'm sure I'm gonna like it. It's beer. I mean, they're really, at the worst case scenario, if I don't like it, I'm still going to be able to drink it. Yeah, it's just this whole weird kind of pretentious trying to raise beer up to like wine. Like, it doesn't need that. It doesn't need that. It's beer. It's for everybody, I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm being an asshole. You let me know. But it's like, I'm not one of these guys that will look down my nose at somebody drinking a Coors Light or even a Busch Light or a Natty Ice. I like all beer. It depends on my mood. If I go to my buddy's house, he likes good beer, but he doesn't want to pay good money for good beer, which is fine. So we typically when he drinks good beer, it's when we go out. He doesn't typically stock it in his home. I mean, he'll pick up a case of St. Adam's Boston Lager every now and again, but my point is typically he drinks Busch Light. Guess what? When I go over to his house, if I don't bring my own beer, I'm drinking Busch Light, and I'm fine with that. It has its place. When I don't feel like spending a bunch of money, the cheapest I typically go in my house is Coors Light. Coors Light is my preferred American, lagered pilsner, whatever you want to call it. That's my go-to. But anymore, because I've cut down on my beer drinking quite substantially. I mean, I typically only drink on the weekends anymore, and even then, like today's Friday, I don't plan on drinking right now. I mean, that's part of the reason why I'm brewing beer at 10:40 in the morning on a Friday, is because it's a whole lot easier not to drink at 10:45 in the morning. You know what I mean? So, because brewing beer and drinking beer kind of go hand in hand. Plus, I don't have any homebrew ready and raring to go. I'm rambling now, so I'm just gonna leave you with that. Let's leave beer alone, okay? It doesn't need to be sophisticated. It doesn't need to be more than it is. It doesn't need to have this air of superiority. It's a micro nano brew. Shut up with that crap, man. You know what? If it's good beer, drink it. If it's bad beer, let some other idiot drink it. Anyway, that's my thoughts. Again, it's all beer. Okay, our 30 minutes is up. Didn't look like it ever really held at 155 degrees. Ugh, my side, what a horrible view. I'm fat. Anyway, so it looks like it ended at right. Still held between 157 and 158 degrees. It is what it is. I'll take that with a grain of salt. So now we're going to pull out the grains. Get my spoon here. And again, I'm going to reuse that box. And just after this gets done draining out for the most part, I will stick that in the box and then throw them out. If I can get this, there we go. Yeah, that's hot. Duh, it's been 155 degree heat. Okay, so how are we going to get this out without burning me? God, I feel like I'm new at this. Kind of am. It's been a while since I've brewed anything. Okay, go ahead and pick that bad boy up and let her drain. It's a little warm. Nothing I can't handle. Let's do that. I'm not too concerned with getting all this. I'll wait till it's just kind of dribbling. But you know, you might as well get as much as you can, right? That's just flavor, that's all that is. And I gotta say, the smell coming off of this, woo, this is gonna be a good beer. As long as everything stayed fresh. You know, everything was in sealed containers. I did buy new yeast, like I said earlier, so I'm pretty confident this will still end up tasting good and be a good beer. I have yet to try an extract from, man, this camera angle just cuts right at my head, doesn't it? That's kind of silly. So I'm going to bring that up because you can see what's going on. All right, bringing this up. All right, yeah. So, yeah, you know, I was saying, I've never had a Midwest kit I didn't like. But then again, I don't order outside my taste, my comfort zone with taste, I guess. So, anyway, so I'm going to put this in the box. Set that in the sink for now until I get back to it. All right, so now I'm going to add the LME and the lactose. Again, they wanted you to bring this up to boil first, then bring back to boil. But I want to see if I can avoid that step, skip that step. I am going to move it off the burner just in case. I'll bring you guys in. Pardon me. Yeah, there's a close-up of my face because everybody wants to see my ugly mug. Okay, so yeah, work with me on this one. All right, so the lactose, get a shot of that. Okay, the lactose in. I don't know if it matters which we do first. Gotta get my scissors off camera. All right, so we'll add the lactose first because it was in my hand. I can get this stuff put off so I don't make a big mess. Okay. Now again, this is all pre-boiled, so I'm not worried about sanitizing. Because the boil will, in effect, sanitize this stuff. So let's go ahead and stir this. I have no idea how this is going to behave. It doesn't look like it's like DME. Yeah, it dissolves pretty quick. You know how DME like the clump, and even the steam will cause it too. This stuff, nah, doesn't look so bad. Yeah, it's dissolving pretty quickly. I've never used lactose, so I'm guessing. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong here, but is this just powdered milk? Lactose is a non-fermentable sugar. I don't know. All right, so that's in. That was easy. Now for the LME. This is the part that I don't like. Now again, it's been so long since I've brewed anything that for all I know, Midwest Supplies has changed once again. And they're using a different packaging or a different company than Maillard malts. That's a tongue twister. But you see, not a big fan. I mean, this is 6 pounds, and there's real no discernible handle. I mean, you can't really get, I don't have big hands, you know, I'm for a guy, I've got pretty small hands, and it's kind of a pain. So anyway, we'll open this up. And also, yeah, why no tab, huh? Why no tab? Let's make this as difficult as possible to get the seal off. Thanks, appreciate it. Yeah, see. Dark syrupy goodness. Alright. Pain in the butt. Alright, so go ahead and start pouring this in. I actually go backwards. I get a better grip unless that was how they intended it, but I get a better grip doing that. So slowly bring this in while I'm stirring. Try to move. You guys want to see this, not me. So the nice thing is, because I haven't boiled this yet, because I'm off the burner, I can add this a little faster than I normally would because I'm not going to worry about it scorching to the bottom. I mean, normally I would just trickle this out, but again, since I'm not boiling it first, it's just not that hot. I can actually feel it reaching the bottom, but I'm not worried about it scorching. Slowing down. Just that ribbon. We're gonna have to be real careful about boil over, because I'm already at just under the 4-gallon mark of my brew kettle. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and call that good for the initial, and then go add some water to this and see if I can get the rest of that ooey gooey goodness. I'm gonna go ahead and pause because my water's not hot right now and you guys don't want to hear the noise of my faucet, so I'll be back when I'm adding that. Okay, as you can see, I got it pretty cleaned up. I mean, that was black, you couldn't even see through it there. So add this, and if I lost some, I'm not going to worry too much about it because my brew kettle is really full. I'm going to have to watch this closely. Probably wasn't a good idea to start off with so much water to begin with. This being my first time brewing in a long time. Probably going to make a rookie mistake. Probably going to have a big old mess on my hands. Oops. So fingers crossed that I don't. So I'm going to move this back to the original burner. I'm not going to go hot. Well, yeah. I'll put it on high. That way we get it up to temp, get it close to boiling fast. As soon as I get it to boil, oh, there's my elbow. As soon as I get it to boiling, here, let's go back down to the pot. You can see that by putting water in that Maillard malt, the LME, and shaking up, I've already got foam, so there's that to contend with. Anyway, so what I was saying is I'm going to bring it up to boil as fast as I can on high, and then I'll drop it down to about 6. I'm also, another thing I'm testing is I want to see if I can get the results that they say, like your original gravity, starting gravity should be 1.051. I want to see if I can get this thing to where it's just boiling, you know, where I'm not having this vigorous boil. So I won't lose as much, I won't boil as much off, and B, that way I can run my vent on low, otherwise it's really loud. And I want to see if I still get the same gravity, and then also when it comes time to taste, that I can still taste the hops, because the hops get utilized correctly. So anyway, giving this a final stir, making sure everything's good and stirred up. Sure looks that way. So yeah, I will come back right after hot break, and right when I'm going to add the first round of cluster hops. I think I've used these before. Can't say with any certainty. All right, so see you guys in a little bit. Okay, so got our boil going. We beat the hop break. As you can see, we still got a little bit of foam right in here, and you can also see how much I was flirting with disaster. I mean, I've probably got about an inch between the top of the wort, between the surface of the wort to the top of the brew kettle. So I got lucky. I caught it right as it was happening, and I, used my handy dandy squirt bottle like there's no tomorrow. So anyway, we're gonna go ahead and add the first, first edition of cluster hops, and then set a timer for, I believe, 30 minutes. Yep, set a timer for 30 minutes, then we'll add the second edition. Now, something that I've added to my equipment collection that I didn't have in my last video is this. I don't remember what it's called, but this guy right here for hops. Yeah, I know. I just, I pulled it right out of the Star Sand. Just not worried about it. It'll boil out of there. Uh-oh, that's gonna cause a problem, isn't it? All right, I'm gonna turn this down and boil a little less vigorously, so that doesn't happen anymore. And that little squirt of wort just found the burner. That's gonna smell real good. So I'm gonna go ahead and just scrape that off. Top of that, like so. Ooh, I already got a whiff of the hops just opening the bag. Delicious. So here the hops go, right through the foam, not worried about it. Right into this little hop filter. I really dig this thing. It does a good job of keeping the hops, keeping all that hop debris out of the wort, while at the same time, I don't have any problems with hop utilization using it. And it's a heck of a lot better than using a bag, in my opinion. I think those bags are more pain than they're worth. I mean, that's just me. I'm sure other people like them. I mean, other people, I used to just throw hops directly in, but I want to keep as much debris out of my beer. I like a clear beer. I like a really clean looking beer. That's just the way I am. Anyway, so we're going to set the timer for 30 minutes. I got to get this vent fan back on before I ruin my cabinets. So I'll see you guys in the next hop edition. Okay, timer just went off. So that first half hour is over. Now I'm going to add the second edition of cluster hops and set another half hour timer. Now the instructions, I read through them again, and they actually call for this edition to be a ½ ounce. Well, can't find my digital scale. The wife used it for the boys' Pinewood Derby last. Oh, that's coming up again. Actually, last year. That shows you how long it's been since I brewed, and I can't find the damn thing. So, rather than try and figure it out or do it by hand, you know what? If I don't use them, I'm just gonna throw them away. So I'm gonna use the whole ounce. I mean, all it's gonna do is give it more hop flavor, which I'm always for. Again, cluster again. Gonna add the whole ounce right into the screen. Okay. Go ahead and stick my spoon down in there. Make sure it's all. Yep. Get that flowing through the beer, as it were. I wonder if I slide this over and put this right where the boil goes, if I'll get better utilization. That makes some sense. How hot is that? I gotta go the other way. Of course, the boil might end up just moving around. So, try that. Okay, sorry about the forearm shot. Put that back over here. That's it. Set another ½ hour timer. And I'm gonna go back to watching Weird Science. Hell yeah. Try to get that in frame. And that did not work out. See you in a ½ hour. Okay, so boil's done. Now we're going to cool her down, get her in our fermenting bucket. Got my yeast starter right here. I haven't decided whether I'm gonna decant or not. This is a dark beer, so probably not. It's just, yeah, whatever. All I will say, this is one, look at all that lovely, lovely yeast. good stuff. So I'm hoping there's almost no lag. It's just yeast hits it, just goes to work making this into good, awesome beer. Okay, so go ahead and pull out the hop grainer, whatever. Get all that delicious beer out of there that I can. I went ahead and put about a gallon of 70-degree water in the fermenting bucket to try and kind of speed up the process. I'll probably have to end up adding, I'm sure I'll have to add some more because, yeah, my managed to boil off about 3/4 of a gallon, so I'm about, it looks like I got about 3 1/4 gallons in the brew kettle. Okay, so that's about all I'm going to get from that. Try and do this so I don't make too much of a mess, because that's hot sticky wort. Okay, and just set that in the sink. Drop in our wort chiller that's over here out of frame. I had this sitting in Star Sand pretty much the whole time, so she's good to go. Go ahead and click on the cold water. Get that circulating, get this cooled down rapido. My thermometer in. And even though this won't take but a few minutes, no sense in you guys having to sit here and watch me stir. So we're gonna bring her down to 70, and then we're gonna transfer from the brew kettle into our fermenting bucket, which is back there. All right, see you in a minute. Okay, everything's cooled down. I put it to about 72 degrees because I figure with the water that's in here in the fermenting bucket already and the water that I'm going to have to add to top off to get up to 5 gallons should bring it right around in the 70-degree range, which is typically where I pitch at for every beer. So anyway, here we go. Open up this valve. I do it this way because I've had too many accidents. I've had one too many accidents with going straight from the kettle, dumping it in. I've made messes. Not to mention the fact I have a herniated disc in my lower back, so bending over with 5 gallons of any liquid is not recommended. So anyway, you can see that I've got it coming down from this hose, and then I use this strainer, so you can see that, I can always, play with it a little bit. But yeah, the strainer's catching some stuff, but looks like for the most part it was pretty clear. Like I'm not seeing a whole lot of hop material. Of course, I probably won't see anything like that until it gets near the bottom. But I can do this to kind of, aerate it too, get real sloppy with it. Of course, when I'm done with this and done topping off, I will use my my stir paddle that I have, the drill attachment, to really get it frothy and foamed up and mixed up really well. So anyway, I'm not going to make you stare at this, so I think I'll just wait until, I'll show you my paddle for a second, my stir paddle, and then we'll pitch the yeast, and then we'll do some closing statements. Okay. Okay, as promised, I show you this. This is my drill attachment. It's a little paddle. It's how I aerate. I just give it a real good stir. Just got to be careful how fast you go, otherwise you're going to make a mess. Once you bring it up to the top, you really start seeing some foam and bubbles being made as it aerates it up, gets that air in there. You just really got to be careful and take your time. Not go too fast. You can go faster the lower you go. Right there, it's probably too zealous. One more up and down and I'm going to call her good. Yeah, let's make it some good foam. Okay, we'll call that good. Just set that aside. Alright, so now we'll pitch our yeast. I'm going to go ahead and, I'm not going to bother decanting. Go ahead and, you know what? I'm going to take a gravity. I always forget that. So it said, the instructions say that starting gravity should be 1.051. Let's see what we get. Now again, this has been over in my Star San the whole time, so no problem there. All right, let's see. Well, I can't see because of bubbles, but if I had to take a guess, I'd say it's right in there. Yeah. Knock those bubbles down. Might try that again. Let's see. Plus it's a dark beer, so it's kind of hard to see. But I'm going to say that, yeah, we hit that mark. It looks to be around 1.5, 1.51. So we're good there. And of course, we spilled some. Go ahead and return that to the bucket. Again, everything's been sanitized, so it won't hurt it any. Put that over in the sink. Now let's get our yeast. Take our starter. Give her a good shake. Get all that goodness. Again, it's a dark beer. It's a strong beer, so I'm not worried about it changing the flavor or appearance. Of course, now I'm gonna use my little magnet, find the stir bar. There it is. So now I don't have to worry about dumping it in. And we'll just go ahead and pour all this lovely yeast in so we can get to work making this into beer. That is a big starter. Okay. All right, so capper. Where's my handle? Put that away from the handle. I gotta find my grommet. There's my grommet. Again, still soaking in Star San. You don't have to worry about that because with Star San, from what I understand, it actually churns itself into yeast food, or it becomes yeast food. So it's kind of nice not having to worry about, you know, draining it or making sure it doesn't make its way into your beer. Okay. Airlock ready to go. There we go. Brew day is done. Okay, so we're done. Yeast pitched, brew bucket in the fermenting chamber, aka my closet. Yeah, it was a good brew day. We didn't have any major messes. I can't believe I managed to avoid a boil over with, you know, not giving any headspace in my brew kettle. That yeast starter worked perfectly. I actually, this time around, I've made yeast starters before, but this is the first time that I just let the stir bar go at high speed the entire time. And I think it did make more yeast. I mean, it makes sense, more oxygen, you know, more yeast. So that looked good. And yeah, I didn't decant it. I don't know. If I was brewing a lighter beer, I would have, but this is a real dark beer. I don't think it's gonna, you know, affect the flavor. Definitely won't affect the color. I've got a lot of cleanup to do. This is the last extract kit I'm going to do for the foreseeable future. So my next video, which hopefully will be in a week, is going to be back to my actual partial mashing method. Ugh, tongue twister. Where I actually have, you know, I use a mash tun, a hot liquor tank, and a brew kettle. My 3 system. If you haven't seen it before, go to my first video. It's a little long. This one is actually clocking in a little longer than I'd like it to be too. I don't know. I must have talked too much. But anyway, that's pretty much it. Successful brew day. It's gonna be a long 6 weeks, 6 to 8 weeks before I get to drink it. I'm looking forward to it. Until then, well, until next time, hopefully next week. This is the partial masher saying peace, and that was stupid.